Hello everyone, welcome back to another Friday and another casual champion review. Uh, oh jeez. He still looks really creepy. I'm sorry, okay, we'll talk about it later. Welcome back to another casual champion review, everybody. Today we're taking a look at the brand new champion, Smolder, or Smolder? Does he small? Comedy. You know what's also comedy? Fan art section. I actually have two this time because there was actually so much Smolder fan art sent in that I had to separate into two categories. We have the one here. He'll just send me some really nice Smolder art that they made. Send in some of them very cursed. There's a Skylander one there too. It's great. But there's also this one. And this one's more in line with how Casual Champion Review has been normally, where it's drawing myself or my characters with or as the champion. And some of these are so very cursed, which is perfectly poetic because Smolder himself is very cursed. So it works out fantastically. Thank you, Phyllis, for everyone who sent in so much Smolder art. It's amazing. You're all amazing. I love it so much. Thank you. I was debating whether or not I should do Casual Champion Review for new champions when they come out. Or I should say, like, literally the first week when they come out, because we've been doing it in alphabetical order. But then I thought, I'm going to talk about this character again anyway, regardless. If I don't make a separate video about him, he's guaranteed going to be in the Season Rewind. So it might be fun to just talk about my first initial thoughts on the champion, see how he plays like. And by the way, I've not played a game of this character before, or even gone to a practice tool. This is my first ever experience with Smolder. I know kind of what he does. I know he's a stacking champion, and he's a marksman. But screw playing bot lane. I'm playing mid lane. And also because I think some people take a lot of pride into the final scores that I give champions. Like I'll give Aurelion Sol a 9 out of 10, or I'll give Corki a 2 out of 10, or whatever the hell did I give Corki. But here's the special thing about this series. The score's made up and the points don't matter. It's just me yapping about champions from a game I really like. And so we're going to here to talk about the brand new one. And I thought it also might be nice to talk about the new champion because we now have confirmation that we're not really going to get color stories anymore. We might luckily get one, but we do have at least the base lore for what Smolder is. They didn't release his biography yet, but we got it all in his champion insights. So what does Smolder do? Well, first off, he's our first new Camavoran champion post Viego and Gwen, which is really nice to see. I thought for sure that, like Ishtal was with Kiana, they were going to introduce this brand new region, then leave it to rot for 30 years until we come back and get something new. But surprisingly, we actually got this brand new champion from the region super soon, which is, I've made a mistake. I should point out that Camavor is still not technically on the map, not on the universe map. We know what Camavor looks like, but we don't know how far away it is, which is important because God, I can't with his face. He's so ugly. Okay, so we don't know where Camavor is exactly, but it reads into it a bit because his lore is that Noxus went to Camavor, I guess. They're going there now. And they snatched a bunch of dragon eggs, but their ship broke down. One of those eggs was Smolder, by the way. And the egg drifted off into the sea and washed up on an island somewhere and was found by a kid of the island called Marinos? I don't know. We don't know what kind of island this is. It could be somewhere in the Serpent Isles. It could be just some random island that we never heard of off the coast of Camavor somewhere. We don't know. But regardless, he's raised by this young boy. And that's mostly why he talks the way that he does. That's mainly why he is the way that he is. He drags his wings around as if it's some kind of cape. He's all pompous and snooty like a little human child because he was raised by a human child. And that's also apparently why he's able to speak English. I don't know why I find that idea so stupid and yet so funny, that because this kid adopted a baby dragon, he could teach it to speak English. That's why his mom doesn't speak English, but he does. You're just going to adopt a dog and just like, I'm going to teach my dog to speak English because that's how that works. But Marinos grows up. He's not able to spend as much time with Smolder, and Smolder's trying to discover his own power. He discovers his own power and accidentally sets a forest on fire, and that catches the attention of his mother, who is still alive and has been searching for him for decades. And then his mother takes him, and I guess she's taking care of him now, and that's all we really know about him now. We're gonna have to wait to see if he does some kind of color story, if the bio expands upon that further, but that's what the lore we got from the champion insights. So from what we can infer, Smolder is a Camavoran royal dragon that's supposed to be some kind of high societal position in Camavor, even though Carnivore's fallen, so I don't know how that works. And was raised by humans, so he acts a bit like a snooty human child. But now is being raised by his mom, who's trying to teach him to be this uptight, classy, royal dragon that he's supposed to be. But the thing about Carnivore and dragons, this is going to get into his design a bit. The whole topic of what kind of dragon he is has been subject of debate, not just because he's a baby dragon, but because we know what Carnivore and dragons look like. And in fact, we know what dragons all across Runeterra look like. It's kind of a neat thing of regional diversity, where each spot in Runeterra has different kinds of dragons. So Ionia and Targon have more Eastern-inspired dragons, you know, no wings, floating around like, oh my goodness, my king! On the whole, Ionia and Targon are more Eastern-inspired dragons, while the ones in Demacia, okay, are more Western-style dragons. The traditional 4 limbs, wings on their back, fire-breathing, all that stuff. There's some exceptions, like the Gem Dragon in Targon's more of a goat thing, and the one in Piltover Zon is the Chemtech Dragon, but dragons don't look like this in Carnivore. We know what dragons look like in Carnivore. They are big, snake-like creatures, often with fangs, really long necks, absence of some of their limbs. Granted, those are ruined dragons, but that's kind of the aesthetic that they had going for them. That's what made them different. Smolder seems to be more taking inspiration after the Western style of dragons. I made a mistake. I think they're trying to lean... Oh my god. Oh, gee. Good thing I can fly for like 3 seconds. You'll never... Oh! I think that's what they're trying to do, though, because in the teaser especially, they're trying to lean Carnivore more towards this medieval aesthetic. Which I guess that kind of makes sense. It's all about knights and order and stuff, and kings and queens and stuff, so... Leading towards that aesthetic makes sense. So in that regard, having the more Western approach to Smolder's design makes sense. But it's, again, weird that we already had an established thematic for what they look like. Now is this. The textures look a lot better now. I forgot to point that out. That Smolder's textures looked awful in the preview we got. They looked horribly unfinished. They look a lot better now, thankfully. So Smolder, he's a cute little baby dragon. And is that a bad thing? For me, no, I don't think so. We got a lot of backlash for like, oh, what's Rad doing all these Disney-inspired champions, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's really only Nunu, Yuumi, and Zoe. With the addition of Smolder, that's 4 out of, what, 160-something champions? We need to have some varied aesthetics. I think having another cute character is fine. I think the last time we got like a really cute thing was Yuumi, which Yuumi came out like 4 years ago now, and Yuumi was just a cat. I think there's also a lot of expectations. A lot of people were expecting, because it was a new creature champion, like, oh, I want a cool, badass dragon, and I would have liked that too, even though we have Aurelion Sol already, and now we're getting Shyvana, which is going to be awesome. I really hope her dragon form is super cool. But we've known since the dev update that Smolder was supposed to be a cute baby dragon. So for me personally, I am not at all upset that he is some cutesy dragon or a cute champion in general. It's nice to have different aesthetics every now and again when we haven't had one in a while. Squished by mother. To me, that's not the issue with Smolder. To me, it's... I'm sorry, he's so uncanny. Even after the fixes, I know, Riot, they did their best. They tried to fix it to alleviate the changes with the small details. They did their best with what they could do, because they can only change the model so much before it breaks. Because Smolder is a lot like the Yordles, where he has a lot of facial animation, and that's probably, you know, because of the way they designed his face that they could do it that way. But if they change his model too much, it will break all those animations. So they're doing as much as they can without it. What? It's so uncanny. The face just ruins the whole design for me. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people said that, oh, why does he look uncanny? Why do you find him creepy? Because a lot of people do find him cute. Fair enough. The reason that he looks so uncanny is because it looks like a human face. The face is too circular. The snout is too short. The scales are the same color as some people have for their skin. The eyes big and doughy, and they got whites in their eyes. Oh, I was really hoping that would kill. Viego, my king, no, I didn't mean it. And the pattern he has on his face is reminiscent that a lot of apes have, with the fur going down on their forehead and going down to the center of their nostril. So it looks like an ape's face in some cases. So all those combined make him look like he has a child's face. That's even more creepy because the rest of his body, I think, is actually quite fine. I think it accomplishes exactly what's out to do with this little baby dragon, even if in the teaser, it really made him look like a Skylander. It doesn't help by his his splash art where he's doing the exact same pose as Series 1 Spyro. And yes, a lot of fellows have pointed out that I make random Skylanders references in videos and also use Skylanders music a lot. I do, in fact, like Skylanders. I'll put up a picture on screen of my Skylanders collection. It's very sad, I know. I think proportionally, he works fine. He's supposed to be chibi-esque. He's a baby. He should have very short proportions, short limbs, just a short stature in general. So that works. It's just the face. The face muddies it all up. It's like that super, what was that movie? Mars Attacks, where they glued that human head onto the dog. It's like that. It's uncanny. It looks creepy and you just want to stop. There's actually more things I like about him a lot too, is again, the body is really nice. Hard to see because it's grayed out, but like his color scheme is all reds and purples, all royal status. And I actually really like the crown. I love how it slowly gets bigger the more stacks you get, which is not only evidence of him growing as a character, but it's a nice way to symbolically have him have a crown in the first place because he's royalty without just giving him a physical crown, which would look kind of stupid. I think it's really clever, and it bounces out with the fire on his tail, so there's not this random high contrast point in his head when there's always so much going on with his head with the weird bat ears and stuff. Mother! Destroy them, mother! Mom doesn't actually do a lot of damage now that I look at it, but I do. So I think the actual body is fine. That works for a baby dragon. Again, it's just the face. And some people say, well, you know, he's supposed to be cute, so why wouldn't he look like that? Again, it looks like a human face. That's why it's creepy. And unlike a lot of other champions that have been released in League where we have problems with them, like Kaisa, for example, so we don't really have a direct comparison in League of Legends or Riot Games in general. Like this character with a void symbiote suit, basically. She was our only version of that, so it's hard to compare and it's easier to nitpick about it in that regard. With Smolder, we have multiple direct comparisons, not just in League with the enormous variety of dragons that we have across all of Runeterra, but look at TFT. TFT specifically has tons of baby dragons. You know, there's Poggles, Burno, Chonk, what the other, all the rest of them. There's Aoshin is in there. TFT has made tons of baby dragons cosmetically. It's possible to make a baby dragon and have it still look like, I'm sorry, my king, have it still look like a dragon. We've been talking about his design for a long period of time, but the gameplay is actually, I like it so far. For an ADC, I hate this class. What's wrong with me? The only ADCs I tend to really like are ones like Jin or Kog'Maw, who's not an ADC, he's an artillery mage. Don't let that fool you, the one right next to me. I usually like ADCs that play more like AD casters. Right-clicking, not very fun.
My mom works for Riot, but she's gonna
What, isn't that the 1%? That's like the 1% voice interaction, isn't it? That like, oh yeah, Riot will ban, or my mom works at Riot, she'll ban you. I thought that was supposed to be rare. Am I just super lucky today? It's kind of poetic that Smolder is a stacking champion a lot like Aurelion. It kind of ties into, oh my god, kind of ties into the fact that they are both dragons. I wonder now if they're going to give Shyvana some kind of stacking mechanic. Make it a universal, oh my god. Let's fly over the wall. They'll make it a universal thing among the dragon champions that they all have a stacking ability of some regard. I don't think Smolder's is as impactful as Aurelion Souls. It's all in the Q, really. Like, you try and stack up this, stack up Smolder so you get stronger Qs. Please, plot armor. Oh my god, plot armor. Plot armor, no. I don't really know what to build. I'm just kind of just going what the game's recommending me to do, because I don't play this role. First time playing this character, I realistically I should have hopped into practice tool first. I made that same mistake with Hui and Briar, but Briar was weird, and Hui was very overwhelming for a first game, trying to figure out what all his abilities even do. This feels very straightforward. None of his abilities, except this one. Oh, that's where you see the stacks. Okay, but none of his abilities are more than a sentence long-ish. I think that's what they were trying to go for, right? They were trying to make a very straightforward marksman. Look at the crown now. Look at that. I reached 125 stacks. Big crown. See, that's nice. Not only because it's a cool visual signifier of him growing as a person, or I guess as a dragon. Whatever, you know what I mean. But also because it's a cool visual way for your team, the enemy team, to see how many stacks you have at a glance. I feel like this becomes such a problem with a lot of champions who grow in power. Kai'Sa's the one that strikes me specifically, because with Kha'Zix, it was so easy to tell what he evolved at any given time. With Kai'Sa, it's almost impossible. Aurelion at least has his little marker next to him that you can see when his ult's up, but you don't really have any way to see how powerful they are depending on how many stacks they have. I think that would be a cool thing to add to all stacking champions. You could add like a cool glow effect to Vygar's staff if he hits like 300 evil power. You could, I don't know, make Cho'Gath. I guess Cho'Gath gets bigger. That's already there. Who else stacks? Nasus. You can make him larger with every stack he gets. What the hell is this? Is another feature of Lee Sin, or... Okay. I guess it's $200 for a reason. You know, I think the funniest thing about Smolder's moveset is, I've noticed that he has very low mana cost, but the one that gets me, this ult right here. It's cool to see that his mom at least plays some part in his kit. But also because it's AD carry mentality. Like, the AD carry whines and complains and throws a tantrum and calls for his mom. That's every AD carry player that's ever existed. It's perfect. I'm getting close to being able to get the dragon execute. Like, they gave him an Elder Dragon thing, which I guess they're trying to tie it more into the, again, more the Western style dragons, because that's what Elder Dragon is. Thankfully, I am playing this game right now with viewers, so hopefully enemy team is not too upset. I really want to get the final stage of the stacks for content. Oh, yes. I really want to get to the final stage of the stacks just to see what it's like. So I think I just have to hit more champion. Wait, do I gain? Okay, wait, 2. Wait. Oh my god. That's how I'm supposed to get stacks. I thought I just had to hit champions. I probably should have read the ability. What the Blitzcrank jump scare? Okay, well, only a few stacks off, I guess. Thought I just had to hit you. Oh my god. I'm having flashbacks. I played pretty much exclusively AP Cho'Gath to get my rank placements. To get my rank placement games finished last season. I played the entirety of all my placements in one day, and I hated every second of it. But I am liking his gameplay so much. I like the idea, weirdly. Oh! I kind of like the idea of him as a stacking champion. It's a neat parallel to Aurelion Sol. We have the two different kinds of dragons, where Aurelion Sol is constantly stacking up over the course of the game because he's a god and building up his godly power to smite all those in front of him. Whereas Smolder is just a small little guy learning and gaining experience and training himself. We got the big crown now. So he's gained experience. He is a stronger, better dragon. I like that. I like that cool contrast. I'm really enjoying his gameplay so far. Something I never thought I'd say for an AD carry. Oh, there's the execute. See, I feel like Smolder is a kind of character I would really like. He feels to be playing more like an AD caster. He's a cool little gremlin-y creature, which you couldn't tell by my little goober guy that I use for streams and stuff. I like little gremlin-y creatures. And I like dragons. Dragons are awesome. I think, for me, everything about Smolder came together just right. And then the face. I can't get past the face. It's so creepy. And I don't know how much more they can change about his face. I mean, a lot of people tried to make their own fan edits. I'm gonna get you, Caitlyn. Men are going in. I'm going dead. I live these. There's a lot of fan edits out there that tried to make him look more draconic. I know one person that replied to my initial tweet saying how he looked uncanny. Enzo, like, look at that. That's great. The much wider mouth, the more beak, snout-like face. The eyes, dude. I think change the eyes from white to yellow or orange or anything. The eyes look way too human. It's really unsettling looking. I think there still is room for Smolder to change to be more draconic and less Disney children's medium animationified, which again is probably the reason they did that, so ease of animating. It's very generically appealing. It's the most common form of cuteness in animation these days, which is probably why his facial animations are so well animated. It would be a lot harder to give him these crazy expressive animations with a normal dragon's face. But again, it's been proven that they can do it. They have done it many times in TFT. It's completely possible to make a cute dragon that looks like an actual dragon. So I don't really know what they were thinking of when they made him, but everything else, I quite like him. If I don't die, that is. Fire blast. Again, this is just a for fun viewers game. We're not really trying to be competitive here, but that feels very strong. Again, I don't know how that's going to work with Elder Dragon, like actual Elder Dragon buff, but having a free execute on kills, or how does this work with Collector even? Could you go lethality? Smolder, I don't even know. Regardless, the game seems to be ending now. That was fun. I enjoyed myself a lot more than I thought I would. I wasn't really excited about playing him, but I actually, I did have fun. I'll admit it, I had fun. So, yeah. I think his face is really the only problem for me. I actually like everything else about him, weirdly enough. So thank you, fellas. Next week, we actually have to play Irelia. Oh, boy. So until that time, thank you, fellas, for watching. I'll see you next week, okay? Goodbye.